Sherry. All right, our next candidate ready for Chandler School Board, born and raised in Rhode Island. She graduated from Wake University in 2002 and made the trek to Arizona for a job opportunity. After meeting her husband, she settled right here in Chandler in 2005. In 2013, after her career as a regional sales manager, she decided to stay home with her 4 children and become heavily involved in her children's school. She served as a room mom, a PTO secretary, a PTO president, and a fundraising chairperson. She's a passionate supporter of the Chandler schools, students, and teachers. As a school board member, she's devoted to working tirelessly to ensure students of Chandler schools are provided education and challenges them to think. So please welcome Charlotte Gala.
Thank you. Well, I'm Charlotte Gala, and I'm running for Chandler School Board. That's my family right over there, and that's the reason why I'm running. As I said, as Brandon said, I have 4 kids, and they're all in Chandler School District. COVID opened my eyes just to how much power the school board has, how much power 5 community members have over what our children learn in school. And Chandler schools actually have pretty good bones. In Chandler, you can open enroll at any school. We have a wealth of magnet schools and a wealth of programming at every level as well. So that begs the question, what's the problem? And the problem is the school board. So the school board hires and fires the superintendent. They have final say over the curriculum. They're stewards of the budget. They decide if our kids go to school in the morning. They decide if our children have to wear masks all day, or if they have to be vaccinated. They have that power. So you better make sure that you're electing the correct community members that represent your values to the school board. I'm running on a students first, parents rights, back to basics, bring back critical thinking platform. So what does that mean? Students first is just what it sounds like. We need to put the students first. When they closed down schools in March of 2020, and in Chandler sent home a packet of work for the kids to do every week, that was not putting the students first. When they left the schools closed, first quarter, after summer in 2020, that was not putting the students first. When they had those Zoom classes where no one actually learned anything, that was not putting the students first. And now we're in a real situation of learning loss, and we're in a mental health crisis because of what we did to our kids during COVID. We need actual solutions that put our students first. And I'm not talking more online tutoring or online parent seminars. We need before school tutoring, after school tutoring. We need to focus on the basics. We have to get back to educating our students. Parents' rights. It's just what it sounds like. We, the parents, get to make decisions for our children, not the schools, not the government. We get to decide what we want to teach them. We should know what they're learning in school, not to ban anything, so we know it's there, because I truly believe that the free market is what's going to save public education, because we're going to use our voice, we're going to get elected to the school boards, and we're going to try and get this out of there. And if that doesn't work, then we're going to talk with our feet, and we're going to use our school choice that's so important, and we're going to lead, and we're going to go to the charters, and we're going to go to the privates. And then things will have to change, because ultimately it is a business. If their ADM keeps going down and they keep losing money, they'll be forced to listen and they'll be forced to change. Back to basics. It's like in football. You can't run a trick play if you don't know how to block and tackle. We absolutely have to get back to basics with our children. We have to be teaching the fundamentals. Kids need reading, writing, and arithmetic. Kids must be reading by the end of 3rd grade. They have to know their math facts. We have to teach them. Literacy, not social activism, is the key to future success for all children. Bring back critical thinking. Famed scholar Robert M. Hutchins put it best when he said, "We must remember that the purpose of education is not to fill the students' minds with facts, it's to teach them to think." Kids need to be able to be problem solvers. The jobs that they'll be having available to them today upon graduation from either high school or college are not the jobs of 40 years ago. They're not going to be factory workers sitting straight forward or in a chair, or working an assembly line. They have to be able to problem solve and critically think. We need to bring that back to our schools, and we can do that by expanding our project-based learning opportunities and also expanding our technical education opportunities. The college path is not for every child. They need to be able to get a technical education right here in Chandler schools. So, I'm Charlotte Gala. I'm going to be your next Chandler School Board member. I'm going to fight for our children. My website is charlotteforchandler.com. We are still accepting signatures. Kurt and I are the two conservative candidates that you need to vote for in Chandler, and our signatures are right there. Please take our information and share it with all your friends. Thank you.
Yes, let's support critical thinking in school, because I'm dealing with the ones that just got out of school, and I can tell you they're not thinkers at all. Unless you think that carrying all of your drugs and 2 stolen guns in a car while high, crashing into another car is a good idea. I don't know if that's critical thinking or not. Yeah, so I don't know. All right, our next candidate is also running for Chandler School Board. He has been a resident of Chandler since '95 and a proud father of 3 who have all been educated here in Chandler. He has a passion for quality education and is a regular speaker at the Chandler Unified School District Board meetings. He is active on the Public Policy Committee of Chandler Chamber of Commerce and interacts regularly with civic leaders in the city of Chandler, Maricopa County, and throughout the state of Arizona. After spending 18 years in the high-tech world, traveling the world, now he owns his own small business and is dedicated to supporting kids, parents, and teachers. Please welcome Kurt Roars.
Thank you very much. Again, my name is Kurt Roars, and I'm for the Chandler School Board. Kurt Roars or CUSD.com for more information. So, during the introduction, I have spent about 15 years working in the district, the last 4 years speaking at nearly every school board meeting. What I want you to understand about the school district is the key philosophy is go along to get along. And that's why we get into the problems that we have. That doesn't work out for me. I know these people very well. They know me. I do not go along to get along. I try to do what's right and try to teach them to do what's right instead of just sitting back and letting it happen. Okay. Let me give you an example. Last month I was at the school board and asked the superintendent on camera in the meeting, how much cash do they have on hand? He gave me a shocked look and says, I'm not going to answer that question. It's public information, by the way. He said, I'll talk to you after the meeting. I didn't get an answer, I had to run around. And basically it was, go find it yourself. Now, what I found out is that the county treasurer is the one who holds the funds for the district. The county treasurer is a Republican. John Allen, great guy. A couple phone calls later, somebody was calling me, or actually sent me an email and says, what information do you want? I said, I want all the balances at the beginning of February. I had them the next morning. $269 million they have on account with the county. They have another $30 million in various bank accounts around that they collect through the district, about $30 million. $300 million in cash. I told them, you should not pull another penny off your override authorization because you have $300 million to spend first. So don't do it. That's the right thing to do. But the philosophy there is grab every penny we get our hands on, so we never know when we might need it. Whether we need it or not. Yeah. Second thing I want to talk about. I substitute teach in the district. Last Friday was at junior high school. Right over here. Chit-chatting with the teacher's aide, she said, we just did an internal assessment. Our 7th graders, those don't read at a 4th or 5th grade level. That's a problem. That's a crisis. So we need to decide whether we're going to teach our kids to read, whether we're going to teach academics, or whether we're going to teach activism. And what they're doing is teaching activism in school. They don't care if your kids can read or not. Are we going to teach literacy, or are we going to teach ideology? If your kids can't read, you won't be able to make decisions for themselves. Okay? The other thing I want to talk about, touch on CRT a little bit. And if you don't understand what it means, just think creating racial tension. That's what that's about. I'm in the schools. The kids are not racist at all. They do not care. black, white, Latino, Asian, they all work together just fine. There is not an issue. The people that are racist are the activist teachers. There are people who say that everything must be viewed through the lens of racism, and everybody must be defined by their race. Think about that for a second. Is that not the very definition of racism? We don't do that in this country. We try to have teachers that say that in this country, and we're not going to allow it in this district. Okay? Let me wrap up. Let me get the hook. Put roars for Chandler School Board. Put roars for CUSD.com. I need to raise money to pay Jimmy for his sons. So thank you very much, and have a nice week.
Thank you, Kurt. All right, just real quick, is Jim Torgerson here? Okay, I just want to make sure. All right, I didn't get a chance to meet you, so I just didn't want to start like introducing you, not be here, and then I'm just standing here. So, your intro is much more interesting than mine. So here we go. All right. All right, a married father of two, a former resident of the great kingdom of California. We forgive you. Growing up in Glendale, California, and graduated from UCLA. Nice. He's now a small business owner here in Arizona. A former Gilbert chairman of the Redevelopment and Community Services Board, as well as serving on planning and zoning. This is the guy who finds the dead bodies, whether it be in bad land grabs, such as zinc dairy, pork spinning practices like cactus streams, and even beating Gilbert on eminent domain, or even stopping the $515 million bond. Please welcome Jim Torgerson.
So most of you probably know, do most of your son.
Yeah.
And what's sad is I could really be loud without this. But I wasn't going to do this. I wasn't going to run it. I thought years ago, after watching what the RINOs did, having people approach my daughter in school and make pretty salacious statements, didn't think it was worth it. My kids are grown now. My kids both said to me at the time, Dad, why are you being nice? Why are you being the a-hole you were born to be? They're right. I have spent 15 years in Gilbert Crossing. I moved here because it was a town, not a city, and not real. It has lost that, and it is going the wrong direction. For years, I found things like the Zinky Dairy deal that $51 million was spent without a proper appraisal. It was worth about $7. I look at Cactus Creams, two former council people had me look at a bunch of invoices. They have the vendors, and they're paying 4 to 1,200% of market value for this particular vendor. And nobody calls anybody out. I've beaten them on eminent domain because the county builder used to have a big hammer for that. They're trying it again now. It's not fair to the residents of this town. But what's worse is we have people that have no business sitting there. People who have no ability to critical think. They allow the staff, the tail, to wag the dog. And it is just utterly pathetic. I don't know what to tell you other than I'm exasperated, and I felt that it was time just to be that guy again. I try not to be as harsh as people think I am, because I'm blessed with this great voice, singing in a rock band for 10 years, so I always sound like I'm angry. I'm really not. I love life. I enjoy it. But we have to sit back and we have to take control. And we don't have that in the town of Gilbert. We have apartments where they're granting zoning changes to increase density. And then they say, well, we'll cure the traffic problems with a bond. Well, the traffic problems you created. And the bond will, by adding bike lanes, doesn't create a break in traffic. So I opposed the bond and basically single-handedly shut the thing down. Today it was supposed to be considered by the Supreme Court of Arizona. Apparently, I still have them wrapped up and they can't spend a dime. And I love it. Because every one of them has to look at the tens and hundreds of millions of dollars they already have available to spend. They can't borrow another dime. No bond grantor will give them a loan today because of this. Not one. And I'm proud of that. And I hope everybody here sometimes stands up and says, that's not enough. Because I've just had enough. You know, there's other people that know me that are good people, like Mario, wherever he was. There he is. Bobby Buckley, who I gotta say, I was so impressed. This lady comes in 3 weeks before they're due and raises 1,300 something signatures. I mean, fantastic. And these people care. It's not people that are endorsed by the former mayor who's a lobbyist. It's not endorsed by the current mayor who should be a foodie instead of a mayor because she doesn't have any critical thinking skills and 8 ethics stuff. So I'm Jim Torgerson. I'm not your typical teddy bear. And have a great night.